Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Astu to start systematic divine grace is confounded child. Shira Abhachan Vind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa and Parivraj Kachari. Astu to start systematic divine grace Shira Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vind Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Si Kahao Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Si Advaita Gatadhar Si Vasadi Si Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Si Radha Krishna Gopal Gopinath Semakunda Radha Kunda Grigavadhan Ki Jai. Savindavandam Ki Jai. Simaya Pranavadivdam Ki Jai. Gangamai Yamunamai Ki Jai. Simati Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakti Vinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Our glories to the assembled devotees. Our glories to the assembled devotees. Our glories to the assembled devotees. Our glories to Sisi Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Narayanam Namaskritam Narancheva Narotanam Devim Saraswati Vyasa Tato Jaya Mudirai Asa Payetva Dresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttana Sukhi Bhakti Bhavati Nastiki. So Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13, text number what? You have it written somewhere? How do you know? Okay, you're the organization. All right, so text 10 of Chapter 13, Canto 1, Srimad Bhagavatam. Title of this chapter is Dhritarashtra Quits Home. Dhritarashtra quits home. You're confused? You're confused? Yeah, I know. Yeah, every place you go, they have their own system. This is the system here. You have to be adjustable. One of the problems people have in the global village is that we are maladjusted. We're psychologically maladjusted. So it causes so much of trouble. Majority of the problems on the planet is due to psychological maladjustment. We fail to adapt to environmental factors. We fail to adapt to situations. When we move from one culture to the other, we have a cultural shock, and that could devastate us. So human beings, we should be malleable. We should be adjustable. Yeah. So, let's see. You have your small, you have the digital books here. All right. This age is very good, age of technology is so good. I mean, when I go to places and people give me books they have published, I only accept because as a honor, because I don't want to carry books, Even as a researcher, I got all of my research works done through resources on the internet. School libraries and all the rest of them. So if you have published your books and you give the copy to me, I appreciate that, it becomes like a burden now to carry books. So text 10. Bhavad Vida Bhagavatas Teta Bhuta Swayam Vibhu Titi Kuran Titi Tani Swantastena Gadabrita Bhavad Vida Bhagavatas Teta Bhuta Swayam Vibhu Titi Kuran Titi Tani Svantastena Gadabrita Bhavad Vida Bhagavatas Teta Bhuta Swayam Vibhu Titi Kuran Titi Tani Svantastena Gadabrita. Someone try? Gurukul is, what's up? Someone has represented them already? Oh, okay. Okay, it's them ladies, Mataji's. Thank you. Anyone else? Gurukul is. Got a Gurukul? Ah, cha. Thank you. Okay. You cannot teach him now. So you should. In the recitations because it's purifying. It's very purifying. All right, so thank you everyone who participated. Word for word translation and purport by His Divine Grace is confined Acharya, Srila Bhachan of the Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Bhavat, your good self. Vidaha, like. Bhagavataha, devotees. Theatre, the holy places of pilgrimage. Bhutaha, converted into. Swayam, personally. Vibhu, O powerful one. Titikuruanti, make into a holy place of pilgrimage. Titani, the holy places. Swanta stena, having been situated in the heart. Gadabrita, the personality of Godhead. Translation. My Lord, devotees like your good self are verily holy places personified. Because you carry the personality of Godhead within your heart, you turn all places into places of pilgrimage. Please kindly responsibly repeat. My Lord, devotees like your good self are verily holy places, personified, because you carry the personality of Godhead within your heart. You turn all places into places of pilgrimage. Purport. The personality of Godhead is omniscient and is omnipresent by his diverse potencies everywhere, just as the power of electricity is distributed everywhere within space. Similarly, the Lord's omnipresence is perceived and manifested by his unalloyed devotees like Vidura, just as electricity is manifested in an electric bulb. A pure devotee like Vidura always feels the presence of the Lord everywhere. He sees everything in the potency of the Lord, and the Lord in everything. The holy places all over the earth are meant for purifying the polluted consciousness of the human being by an atmosphere surcharged with the presence of the Lord's unalloyed devotees. If anyone visits a holy place, he must search out the pure devotees residing in such holy places. Take lessons from them. Try to apply such instructions in practical life, and this gradually prepare oneself for the ultimate salvation, going back to Godhead. To go to some holy place or pilgrimage does not mean only to take a bath in the Ganges or Jamuna, or to visit the temples situated in those places. One should also find representatives of Vidura who have no desire in life save and except to serve the personality of Godhead. The personality of Godhead is always with such pure devotees because of their unalloyed service, which is without any tinge of fruitive action or utopian speculation. They are in the actual service of the Lord, specifically by the process of hearing and chanting. The pure devotees hear from the authorities and chant, sing and write of the glories of the Lord. Mahamuni Vasudeva heard from Nada, and then he chanted in writing. Sukadeva Goswami studied from his father, and he described it to Parikshit. That is the way of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, by their actions, the pure devotees of the Lord can render any place into a place of pilgrimage. And the holy places are what they name only on their account. Such pure devotees are able to rectify the polluted atmosphere of any place. And what to speak of a holy place rendered unholy by the questionable actions of interested persons who try to adopt a professional life at the cost of the reputation of a holy place. Om Gyanatimirandasya, Gyanatana Salakaya, Sakso Meritam, Jena Tasmai, Sri Guru Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manovistam, Stavitam Jena Bhutale, Swayam Rupa Kadamaya, Dadati Swa Padantika. Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda Sahodato, Gurudaya Puspavantu, Chitu Chandu Tamon. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda. Sri Advaita Gadara Sivasari Gaura Bhakti. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityananda. Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gaurvani Pacharana, Anevisesa Sonya Bali, Pasatya Disatana. Panchakalpa Taribhyacha, Kripa Samvya Evacha, Patitana, Pavana, Vaishnava. So, we'd like to thank all of you for your enthusiasm in Krishna consciousness. And when you are in this type of environment, which is so charged with enthusiasm, you will find devotees to be very, they work very strongly. But when they are assigned with some service to go and establish a temple and to recruit other devotees where they find, like, they're just by themselves, you don't have a crowd, enthusiastic people. That is where the challenge is. So this is a good foundation you're laying for your spiritual life, for the spiritual life of all of these devotees, because this is a very strong foundation. When a building has a very solid foundation, when storms storm the area, they don't get disturbed. It's a prerequisite. Enthusiasm is a prerequisite for sustained devotional service. So it's very good. I thank the manager of this very project, His Grace Mukund Leela, for this atmosphere so charged with enthusiasm. Mukund Leela and his consort, right? And all of his lieutenants, all of the devotees were helping with maintaining that culture of enthusiasm here. So this text is about our attitude when we go to the holy places, when we go to the Dham. A number of people are not cultured about their behavioral values required when you go to the holy place. I remember there was one guy in the US, he was living in Gitanagri community, and he used to be very offensive to my Guru Maharaj. So, he saw me in Vrindavan commit offenses. Yeah. So, the point is, whether we like it or not, there's a need to read, some literature giving us some insight about how we should conduct ourselves when we go to the theaters, when we go to the holy places. So this text is giving us some insight about our how we should behave, our values when we go to the holy place. I've seen a number of people who go to the holy places, especially in Vrindavan and Mayapur. And I think the people who brought them, they never cultured them any values, the values to maintain when you go to the dam. And so it could be destructive, because if you go to the dam, you are supposed to get, you're going there for some merit, to increase your devotional merit. But if you go to the dam and you commit dam aparad, or you commit some offenses against the devotees, there are norms, there are grand norms. Just like in every country there is a constitution, how people should conduct their lives. In every country there is a criminal code, there is a road traffic edict, how people should conduct their lives when they're using the road, how they should drive their cars. So even in every theater there is a constitution how people should behave. Usually there is a constitution how to behave in his temple. If you go to the dam, there is a constitution on how we should behave. So one of the things is that we seek for some instructions. In fact, the Bhagavatam mentions that if someone goes to the dam and he simply goes to bathe in the Ganga, it's not better than a Gokara. So that heavy, the Bhagavatam is so heavy about it, because you have to really understand the value of the sadhus on that dam. They are the ones who make it a dam. So it's not just some barren land or some structure, some building, or some temple is there and you want to go and have some sightseeing. But the most important elements of the dam is the sadhus. And therefore this text is giving us some illumination, some idea about the potency of the pure devotee. We go to the Ganga to take a shower, to wash away our sinful reactions. The pure devotee goes to the Ganga to bathe and absorb all of our sinful reactions, to purify the Ganga. So, it is important that we recognize the position of the unalloyed devotee of the Lord. And so in this text it's mentioned that the pure devotee is the personification of the theatre, because he's carrying Krishna in his heart. We may argue that I'm also carrying Krishna in my heart. After all, Krishna said in the Gita, Ishvara Sarva Bhutana, read this too, Arjuna Tistat. It's a good argument, a good logic. But how well have we realized that we are carrying Krishna in our heart? That's what we call a theory and the realization. In theory, yes, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam, ladies say, Arjuna Tisthati. That's a construct. It is real, but have we realized it? Are we seeing Krishna in the heart of every embodied entity, even including the dogs? So, the pure devotee is carrying Krishna, and is realized he's carrying Krishna, he perceives Krishna, he communicates with Krishna, and we don't have that perception. We all just understand in theory that, yes, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Vedasya Junatistati. But that theoretical understanding is also a weapon for change. Because if you could just even mold our lives based on that theoretical conception or that conceptual framework, we will have a lot of transformation. Our behavior will change towards people. Our behavior towards life will also change. I mean, just like if we have the understanding about consequentiality mindset, that whatever we do, we get some consequences, we get some reactions. We refrain from doing anything that is going to give us some reactions. We will seek to do those things that facilitate our devotional and social growth. We don't want to do anything that will bring about some reactions. That is, we have the mindset, we have a consequentiality mindset. We are conscious of the fact that whatever we do, we get a feedback. So that conceptual framework helps to mold our behavior. So, having that understanding that Krishna is in the heart of everyone is a very good weapon for a positive change. Because then we have a chance to be able to identify everyone as Temple of Vishnu. You don't shoot, you don't see a temple and you start shooting guns, shooting a temple, right? So, if we are just theoretically, we just theoretically have the understanding that everyone is a carrier of Krishna in their heart. I mean that Krishna is residing in someone's heart. It means that that body is a temple. It has become a temple. So we treat that body as a temple. So at best, what we could do is we should see people as temples. So that helps to leverage our desire to be devoted to the cause of the absolute truth. That will leverage our desire not to be offensive. Because we see, this is the temple. And we're going to the temple, we are very reverential. So we're meeting this person, we become very reverential, we become very respectful. Isn't this a good logic? It's not a big philosophy, but it's just we treat people as a temple of Vishnu with respect. Even the atheists, they respect the temple. They may say they are atheists, but they respect the temple. This is a place of worship. I don't believe in them, but I respect what they're doing. I respect the building. I respect the structure. I respect the environment. So, Vidura is just a pure soul. And Vidura was Yamaraj in his previous life. He got cursed. By who? Who cursed Yamaraj to become Vidura? Nitai? Who? Huh? No, who cursed Vidura? Who cursed Yamaraj to become Vidura? Yeah, who knows? Yes? If you don't know, the men, if you don't know, I'll ask the ladies and they will tell us, and it will be a shame on you guys. This is the time you should use your digitalization power to figure out. Manduk Moni had a bad experience. And then with his mystical power, he was able to transfer himself to Yamaloka to find out from Yamaraj what's going on. Why do I have to undergo this type of horrible situation? And Yamaraj narrated to him that Yamaraj's narrative didn't fit well into Manduk Muni's mindset. So he cursed him. Sometimes someone tells us the truth, we just he becomes our enemy. Yamaraj told Manduk Muni the truth. For you rascal, be cursed. This is how the world is. We don't want truth. But some people are very expert. They will tell us what we want to hear. Oh yeah? They tell us what we want to hear, then we think that, oh, he's just a loving friend. And someone asks like Yamaraj to tell us the truth. Oh, you don't like me. Yeah. So, Vidura is a perfect soul, and he helped the Pandavas a lot during their tribulations. And a pure devotee, this is the nature of a pure devotee, they extend themselves to be able to help the conditioned souls, to help others. So, in a sense, everyone has some quality of pure devotional service. We also want to help people who want to help to create positive spiritual change in the world. And therefore, we are devising the different avenues to be able to reach out to people to introduce Krishna to them. And the perfection of the pure devotee is to give Krishna to the world. How, or to the extent we are desperate, we are endeavoring to give Krishna to the world, to that extent measures the level of our purity. Because the pure devotee's business is to give Krishna. They don't have any other business. And so, Yudhishthira was very much appreciative of Vidura's status. And here, he's eulogizing him, he's praising him. He's telling him how he is the embodiment of the theaters, embodiment of places of pilgrimage. Because such a perfected soul, they go the extra mile to be able to help the conditioned souls. So, such people have to be very much respected because they are very dear to Krishna. They are very dear to Krishna. In fact, Krishna mentioned there is no one who is going to be more dear to him now in the past and in the future. And Krishna doesn't bluff. Krishna wouldn't tell us what we want to hear. Just like Yamaraj. He wouldn't tell us what we want to hear. He would tell us the truth. So Krishna doesn't bluff, the pure devotee doesn't bluff. Yamaraj is also a pure devotee. Vidura. And Vidura, if you read about his lifestyle, even with his nephews, the Kauravas, Vidura wouldn't mince words. He would tell you as it is. He wouldn't tell you what you want to hear. Even with Dhritarashtra, he will tell Dhritarashtra, just plain blank, without mincing words. No political agenda. So, Yudhishthira recognizes the values of Vidura, and he was very much appreciative and praising him. But he doesn't go to the back and say something else about Vidura, because Vidura has helped them so much, and he knows he's just expressing himself. It's not like situations where some people are very good at that. They come to tell you very sweet words, but then they go to the back and then they conspire to kill you. This wasn't like that. So the pure devotees, they are very dear to Lord Krishna because they are spreading the message of God. They are reclaiming conditioned souls. The major concern of Krishna is how we can come under his shelter. And the pure devotee goes around trying to persuade people to take shelter of Lord Krishna. And persuasion is not an easy job. It's very tasking. And you have to have the skills. So the pure devotee, he has to develop different type of strategies on how not to quest someone to take shelter of Krishna, but to persuade the living entities to take shelter of Lord Krishna. Because it's all about love, and you can't quest someone to love you. So it is important to recognize the value of the pure devotees in the material world. They have taken on the responsibility, thankless service. Thankless service. In most cases, they are criticized for everything they do. But they don't have any self-interest other than the interest of Lord Krishna. So our lives also, we should tailor our lives in that way. Our interest should be the interest of Lord Krishna. To the degree that our interest is the interest of Lord Krishna, to that extent we have attained the purity required to be able to sustain our devotional life. So when we do go to the holy places, and in fact, some of my friends that I cultivated them, and eventually I wanted them to visit the dam. I personally bought them, books like, Navadip Parikram, Vrindavan, Mahatmya, because these books, they give you express delineation of how to conduct yourselves when you go to the holy places. But then, and the number of people they go to the holy place, they have the money. It's not a question of having the money and then I'm flying to India, I'm going to the holy place, I'm going to Vrindavan, I'm going to Mayapur, I'm going to this theater, I'm going to that theater. That's why people need to be guided by some senior person, someone who has a better understanding of the Dharma and how to conduct ourselves. If we follow such a person, they will help to minimize any offenses that might, any potential offenses. So everything we do, it seems that we need some guidance. Yeah. I mean, it's just like even to play characters, we need some guidance. We need to be taught how to do it. And sometimes people just come into our temples and they attach to the character and then they just start playing and then it becomes a distraction. They don't want to learn. But even character, we need to learn. So going to the Dham, we need to understand the implications of going to the Dham, what is required to be avoided, what the type of behaviors that we have to put up with. And in that way, we can also lead others in the future. And the temple is an extension of the theater. It's a theater because Lord Krishna is staying there. So if you are coming to the temple also, we have to learn particular values, particular behavior. We come to the temple, we pay obeisances to the deities. Like we have Prabhupada there. We come in, we pay obeisances to Prabhupada. We are going out, we pay obeisances to Prabhupada. So behavior to conduct ourselves in particular ways, even in the temple, is required. So say for instance, you're serving a spiritual master, and the first thing you see him in the morning, you have to pay obeisances to him. And when you live in his presence, you pay obeisances to him. When you come back again to his presence, you pay obeisances to him. And when you live in his presence, again you pay obeisances. But this is the etiquette. Otherwise, very soon you'll be seeing him based on the body. He eats, I eat. He sleeps, I sleep. So, yeah. So behavior, what we call modus vivendi and modus operandi. Modus operandi means the way we operate. Modus vivendi implies the manner we lead our lives. And so, in all circumstances, it's required that we have a behavior modification. Behavior modification is required when we go to the Dham, when we come to the temple. We don't smoke in the temple. We don't smoke in the temple premises. We don't speak Griyam Kata in temple premises. So there are ways to be able to deal with our manner of living and our operational limitations. So in the Dham also all these things are required. And so many people go to the Dham without observing any regulations. And it's pathetic, but you know what to do. So, we have reverence for the pure devotee. In the Mangalarchana is mentioned, we have to give the same worship to the pure devotee. Again, it's mentioned, if the pure devotee is pleased with your service, your life is perfected. If your spiritual master is pleased with your service, your life is perfected. So, why? Because they are like the beacon for Lord Krishna. And so they are like overseeing the affairs of the devotees, the affairs of in the material world. And if you're lucky, fortunate enough to please a perfected soul, that's it. So it's not that we have to work it independently. We have to figure out. In fact, again, in Mangalarchana, it's specifically mentioned that when the pure devotee is pleased, Krishna is pleased. Krishna likes these guys, right? Krishna likes all of us. He loves all of us. But there are some people that he really has sold himself to them. And that's the pure devotee. And we're struggling to become pure devotees. Because if we want to become pure devotees, we have to serve the pure devotees. So in the process of Krishna consciousness, we are serving Prabhupada's mission, we are serving the present sadhus. And all that is an attempt to please Krishna. And so it is important for us to bear in mind that our behavior in the holy dam is something that we should reflect on when we want to go to the holy dam. And even in our temples, the way we operate outside is not the way we operate in the temple. So environment matters a lot, because the dam purifies us. Whether we like it or not, we come to the temple, we get purified. There is a German psychologist who developed this, the theory of the field theory. And the field theory stipulates that. And you see how everything we do is so scientific. When we don't have the broad information culture, then it becomes like a ritual, it becomes like, rule. But, everything that we do in this movement is very scientific. Tell me one thing, and I'll give you a scientific value based on a mundane scientific theories. So we come to the temple, you believe it or not, we get purified. Based on the field theory. The field theory stipulates that the environment impacts on us. The temple where the worship of Krishna is going on, glorification of Lord Krishna is going on, the atmosphere, the environmental forces are completely different from outside. And so when we enter in that type of environment, that environmental factor impacts on us, whether we like it or not. So we come to the temple, we go to the temple, whether we like it or not, we are getting purified. We may do nothing. So What basically happens is that, for instance, okay, if you enter a cold room, put on 5 thick jackets, enter into a cold room, and be there just only for 2 hours. You will feel cool. The environment impacts on us. That's a gross example. If you go out into the sun, you feel the scorching heat of the sun. The environment impacts on us. So when we go to the dam, where nothing else is transpiring other than the glorification of Lord Krishna, worship of Krishna, Krishna Katha, atmosphere is so charged with Krishna's energy. And so when we go to those type of environments, we are forced to be purified without even we knowing. Okay, we take another factor, the congregational chanting. Congregational chanting, Lord Chaitanya, you're not going to tell the congregational chanting based on the principle of synergy. Synergy implies that when two or more people perform an act or engage in some activity together, the result is always greater than the individuals performing that act separately, and you bring in the results of those individuals together. Do you understand? So our congregational chanting is based on synergy. And that's why that is the Yuga Dharma. So individually, we do our japa, but even individually, if we do our japa, if you lock yourself in your room and do your japa, you never know what time you fall asleep. Oh, yeah. But if you stay in a temple room where other devotees are chanting, the energy that's spreads around is completely different. So that sustains your alertness. So, environment. And so, when we go to the holy dam, we have to understand we are in a different environment that will help to positively modify our behavior. And we should just be in alignment with that structure. In our way, we have the full benefits of visiting the holy dam. Yes, any comments or questions? Yes. Sure.
establish dance and Western practice also further to easily access.
Sure.
So that how do we understand Buddha Prabhupada establishing temple in school? How do we get the vision like to see there is God temple, etc.
Yes. I remember when the first time I came to Mayapur, the first time after spending, I came to India the first time after spending over 20 years in ISKCON serving as a brahmachari. And then I came to Mayapur. The first time I came, I was coming to take seance. I was coming to do Bhakti Sastra before the seance, and I had 5 conferences, presentations in 2 months. So when I came to India, and the senior brahmacharis there, I remember this Maharaja who left his body, what is his name? Especially Nityananda Maharaj. That time he was a brahmachari. And he's like, when he sees me, he was just so curious. You mean you never came to India for over 20 years in this movement? And you're a brahmachari? How did you survive? So my answer to them when they present that query was, Prabhupada has established temples, like you said, all over the world. And although I was young and I was just new to ISKCON, but I had a firm belief, a firm faith that these temples, these deities, they are not different from the deities in India. I had that firm conviction. Nobody told me, but I had that firm conviction. And therefore, I never really bothered to come to India. Some people, when they join the movement, the next 6 months, they're trying to come to India. But I had the understanding, I had my own conviction. Sometimes my thinking is bizarre, but in most cases, it turns out to be, true. Then, my second conception was that India, I'll be tired of India in the future if I want. I said, now is to serve, now is to preach. When the time comes, I'll be tired of staying in India. No need to hurry now. India is right here. The deities are here. Prabhupada established this system here to allow us to have access to devotional service. So I had that conviction as a young man. And therefore, recognizing the mode of Prabhupada implies that the deity, look at the case of, what's the name of this, the case of the Maharaja who was asked by his deity to go and bring sandalwood from Puri. Yeah, Madhavendra Puri. Look at the case of Madhavendra Puri. Okay, he went to collect the sandalwood, and when he was coming, he stopped over at which temple? So, in the night, he had a dream that he should surrender his sandalwood to the temple there for the service of the deity. He didn't say, well, these are for my deities. So he was convinced that Krishna is one. He's differently located, but Krishna is one. And Krishna basically wanted to show us that the deities we find in our temples. And now, it's something subjective based on faith, but the case of Madhavendra Puri, it just displays this, grossly out for us to appreciate and recognize that Krishna is one. And therefore, wherever Krishna is established, that place is a theater. It depends on the individual who is approaching that subject matter and how convinced the depth of his faith. So for one, Madhavendra Puri, it was not a problem to him. He had that dream, he surrendered all of the Sandavu for the service of the deity there. So that's a good example for us. That's a good model for us to follow. And the next question is, if that's the case, then why do we have to go to Vrindavan? Yeah, these are places where Krishna specifically performed, his leelas. We go to Mayapur. These are places where Radha and Krishna in the form of Lord Chaitanya perform wonderful pastimes. So there is that potential for us to grow if we have that broad intelligence to recognize, taking a word, the mood of Prabhupada and establishing holy places all over the world. And the next question may be, then why should Westerners waste their time to come to India? Like I mentioned, in India, there are so many holy places. Krishna did not appear in Washington, D.C. He appeared in Vrindavan. I remember one of my professor friends, that guy, he knew me when I was a young man. I was publishing in some of their journals. At that time, he was doing his PhD, and I was publishing papers in some of the journals in his university. And in one of my publications, which was like a surprise to me how he got attracted. That was how we got connected. And we never met for so many years. The very first time we met, he arranged a faculty presentation in his university. At that time, he became head of department for musicology. And then the whole of the faculty of arts in his university, the professors, the vice chancellor, everybody came. One time, this very professor, he said, he's figuring out when to come to India. I said, to come to India to do what? What do you want to come to do in India? He said he has been reading in the books about Krishna's pastimes. He wants to come and see these places himself. This is the reason why Westerners need to come to India. Yes, Krishna is there in their temples, but they need to come. Krishna did not appear in New York. He didn't perform pastimes in New York. He performed pastimes in India, Vrindavan, Govardhan, Sevakunj, Kharagpur. Yes, so that's the rationale. It's a deep question you ask, very important. Yes, so we have to take advantage. I mean, I've seen some people even in India, they've never been to Vrindavan. I've seen some people in Delhi, they've never been to Vrindavan. It's not strange. It's just that one may be born in India, they don't have sufficient pious credit. They may not be opportune to go to Vrindavan. Because when you go to Vrindavan, you will advance lots and lots of pious merit, lots and lots of purification by dint of the field theory. Yeah. All right. Any other comments? Does it make sense? Yes.
Maharaja, you were mentioning in the class that we have to be truthful. Devotees are truthful. But then, if you are bluntly speaking the truth, then it will hurt. We will just keep hurting the devotees. So how to balance the both? Because we have to be truthful at the same time. It should be pleasing to the devotee. We hear that the speech should be truthful and.
Okay, here is the case. I had a friend, and he was temple president. I trained him up. He became temple president in a different location, a different city. And one time he had approached me to find out, because he said he wanted to know if it was okay to tell his devotees that Guru said. I said, it's not okay to tell your devotees Guru said. Because if Guru never told you that, he should not say Guru said. This is what you want. You want something good for your project. So you can tell them, if we do this, Guru will be pleased. You don't tell people bluntly, Guru once, Prabhupada said this. If you tell me Prabhupada said, I would ask you, show me where Prabhupada said. The training we received when we joined was a little bit, tough. I remember one of Prabhupada's disciples who was with us. His name is Upananda. Upananda will openly speak in the class that, they say Prabhupada said. Show me where Prabhupada said. Yeah, so we can use the spiritual master to favor our cause. And that's not very proper. So we should have a choice of words, choice of language. We have good intention. We should see how we channel that intention in the practical terms to be able to leverage the devotional values of the devotees. So, yes, we don't like the truth. Conditioned souls, we don't like the truth. But Vidura will always speak the truth. And you can go to hell. But we should know what we say, how people feel about it. And even the truth that is in the Bhagavatam, sometimes it's really heavy, and we don't like it, but we know this is what the Bhagavatam is saying. I understand your point. I remember when I was active on Facebook, I'll quote some verses from the 11th canto, and some devotee had approached me to say I should stop. It's not me saying it. It's not me saying it, yeah. So, when we say the truth, people feel hurt because the adage that when dry bones are mentioned, a haggard man or a woman feels uncomfortable. Do you understand the point? When you start talking about dry bones, people skinny. Okay, just take it like this. If you start talking about skinny people, the austere devotees, they feel disturbed. They feel worried. Why are you criticizing me? Yes, so we should know what we say and think about what we say. Think about how what we say could affect other people. And we minimize or we channel our energies in just a positive way to leverage the consciousness of the devotees, not to speak in just ways that will create some deprivation. Truth is good, but the truth should be capable of leveraging the consciousness of the devotees. So we should have a choice about what we say, how we say it. The truth can even be said in a very palatable way. For instance, you're saying the truth and you don't frown your face and make people feel that you are the only best person. And everybody out there know they are affected by this very concept. I know in the case of late Bhakti Swami Maharaja, he can tell you the hard stuff, but he's smiling. But he's smiling. And so you take it that, he loves me so much. Yeah. Okay, I'll give you this example. Here is an 8-year-old girl. 8-year-old girl. This incident happened in America. 8-year-old girl. The father came back from work one day and started chastising this girl back and forth for no justifiable reason. She just tolerated. It's very un-American that you come to insult your child and they just keep quiet. Very un-American. Because they're supposed to put you to jail. They're supposed to just call the police and then put you to jail. So this girl just tolerated everything. But she had the truth, and she has to tell the truth to the father. But at that time, she was hurt. She was very disturbed when the father was abusing her and insulting her for no reason. She was disturbed, but she tolerated. As some days have elapsed, some days have passed. Father was happy, the girl was happy, they were eating. And then he said, Papa, this day, when you came back from work, you did like this to me. Did you have any fight with somebody in the office that day? She is confronting the father, but in a very palatable way. Another way to do that is to call the police when he was insulting her, and then just put him to jail, let him learn his lesson. But what will that do? It will bring about sustained friction, if even the father is released from the jail. So here is a tactful way to deal with problems, and not to hurt somebody so much. So the father is the one who told me this story. Yeah. And so the father felt remorse. He said, yes, I had so much of troubles in the office that day. So when he told me this story, I felt very, very bad. So I told him to call the girl. So when the girl came, I had to beg her on behalf of the father to forgive the father. Because it's not an ordinary person. An ordinary American girl, 8 years old, will not act like that. He will put the father to jail. He will call the police on the spot. She will call the police on the spot. Amen. So here is a bitter truth confronting your father. But it was in a very palatable way. It's the same thing. You can confront somebody with harsh words, or even by putting them to jail. But her approach, we have good intentions. My point is, we have a good intention. Our approach is not perfect. So we should perfect our approach by dint of our good intentions. We want to say something. So, it's a devotional life. If we just copy and paste who may create so much of disturbance. I have experienced that. I quote verses from the 11th canto, 10th canto, and put on Facebook, and people get disturbed. Why is saying this? I say it's not me saying it. Why are you bringing it up? So I learned my lesson. I'm telling you from my own lived experience. So we don't want to hear the truth. And not everyone is in a position to tell us what we want to hear. The truth has to be spoken, but in a palatable way. We have to have strategies on how to churn out that truth in a way that people get a leverage, not disturbed. Do you understand the point? You know, I remember one time when my Guru Maharaj was on the planet, there was a boy who was with us in the temple, and I was the temple president at that time. At that time I was very tough. I was super tough. So, so this boy, he did something. Your Guru Maharaj, he knows me. So this boy, he did something, and we met out some penalties on him. But he was our public relations officer. So he made some campaigns of calumny against us, against the movement. So when the Guru Maharaj came, he was speaking to me about that. I said, this is one of the personal benefits I received from my interactions and my service under him. And he mentioned something, that when you're dealing with people, and this is to the benefit of everyone here, he said, when you're dealing with people, they might even break the principle, but be tactful. Be tactful. When you're tactful, they will not revenge. I know of a case where someone took initiation yesterday, and today he went to meet Guru Maharaj. I'm leaving the temple. He didn't feel offended. He didn't chastise him. He said, he prayed for him that whatever you want to go and do, I pray that you're successful. And what we are open to you. Anytime you feel free to come back. So the process of trying to help people could be very challenging. So we have to have choice of words. Choice of words. If we just repeat everything, it's like a number of our devotees are very good at doing this. Okay, Krishna said, those who worship the demigods. What did he say? They don't have sufficient intelligence. So you can also see somebody who is worshipping demigods, and your whole preaching is based on, these are useless people, they don't have intelligence, and all. This is the truth, okay? But is it the way to put it? Is that the environment? Is that the atmosphere to put it? You went to an environment. You went to one community and they are all worshipping demigods. You want to preach there and your first thing is to attack them. They won't listen to you. It's like you're coming to fight. You're not coming to preach, you're coming to fight. Strategies, approaches, methodologies. Yeah. I remember when I visited one of my cousins several years ago when I was younger, and his son had did so nicely in his graduation from high school. but he didn't get credit in English. And the father is a teacher. He's a mathematician. The father chastised him for so many days. So when I visited them, and that boy is really fond of me. So when I visited them, and then I was asking him about his results, his high school graduation results. So he told me, like he got A in 7 subjects. And English, he didn't get credit. He got like maybe P7 or something like that. And so he told me about his result. I said, oh, you have a wonderful result. All that you need to do is register for English and then just focus all of your attention on this and get another A also from that. Then you know what he told me? He said, why are you different? Why are you not like your brother? Then he told me how his father traumatized him. So here is somebody who got, A, 7 A's, and English, unfortunately, got P. And the father couldn't recognize that. So he was using his position as a father and as the Ishwara of the family to victimize the boy. But then, it's the same thing. When we want to wish someone well, we should see what we are saying. Is it motivating this person or is demotivating him? Yes, it's the truth, but is it demotivating him or her, or is motivating him or her? So, the choice of language. Don't just cut and paste. Think. Modify your language and see how it fits in to be able to create a positive spiritual change. What's the time now? 8:30. We have crossed the boundary? Have we?
Next Saturday they don't have classes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So we should have the class at 12 o'clock? Any other comments or questions? Yes. Anything?
Maharaj, so when we say a place of pilgrimage,
Huh?
when we say place of pilgrimage,
Uh-huh.
so it generally refers to place where Lord performed the pastimes. And also a place of pilgrimage also means it also a place where many of our acharyas perform their pastime, like they have taken birth or the samadhi is there. So for us, the founder Acharya Prabhupada's birthplace and Prabhupada pastime places are in Calcutta.
Yeah.
So it is a place of pilgrimage for us.
Sure.
So we have but it should be holy. It is holy for us, and it is holy for us, holy place for us. So, but sometimes when we go around the streets of Calcutta, we find that this Calcutta is so dirty, so filthy, and so noisy, so pollution. So and on the other hand, it is a place of pilgrimage as well. We have to respect the place. And other hand, it is we we see that this place is disturbing and filthy. So so how should we see? Because it is the place of our founder Acharya Prabhupada.
Yeah. But if you're talking about filth, if you go to Vrindavan, Vrindavan is also, materially speaking, very dirty. Now the person who does not have the salve of love will see the dirt in Vrindavan. The person who is having the salve of love will see the Rasa Leela going on. So two things. It's the vision, our vision. We see the dirt because we are dirty. So it is important for us to have some deep understanding, some deep cleansing, to be able to perceive the Dhamma. Yeah, Calcutta is pretty, it's challenging to go there. It's challenging. But the place where we have, we go to pay our homage, they're exceptional. The places where the temples are, they're exceptional. Material world, the whole of the material world is horrible. But the theaters are exceptional. Again, the concept of what did I say? The concept of the field comes in. You know, when you have say those who did electrical engineering here? Electrical engineering? Okay. So in electrical engineering, we have this concept of a circuit. Correct? Yeah. So there is always a flow of a particular energy. So if you go to the dam, it's like a particular type of circuit, spiritual circuit. There's a particular energy, a specific spiritual energy that is revolving over and around the place. You don't find that in other places, other parts of Calcutta. Calcutta is a business place. Okay. But then the temples or the places, the holy places, are different from the main city of Calcutta. Calcutta was the capital of India during the British rule, so it's a commercial place. But the place where Prabhupada had particular pastimes, or the places where we have Vishnu temples, they are not part of Calcutta. They are not part of Calcutta. They might be physically located there, but they are not part of Calcutta, as we understand the concept. Because there is no business going on in these places. Calcutta is a business center. In those places, all that you can find or perceive is Krishna's energy, pure devotional service. Yeah, so this is just a general problem, because if you go to Vrindavan also, majority of people, they can become very offensive when they go to Vrindavan for the first time. Because then they will say, I read so much about Vrindavan. Is it how the place is? Yes, so the places of pilgrimage are not perceived by dint of external vision, but based on internal vision. And people who go to Vrindavan, and they can have a lived experience of the rasa dance. People go to Vrindavan, and they have the lived experience of the deaths of Vrindavan. I mean, just like we are all chanting the same Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare. So, we have different realizations. Yeah. You don't say, well, this person has this realization, why I don't have. We should not kill ourselves because of unnecessary comparisons. We should beg Krishna, beg help from the acharyas, beg help from the devotees for our spiritual growth. In fact, one attitude that we may have is that we say, well, I have my guru, this is what my guru told me to do. Okay. What you're just saying is bogus to me, because my guru told me like this. And this is what I have to do. Now, your guru is not going to be there all the time. Your devotees around are the ones who are going to be there with you all the time. So we should also live our lives in such ways that suit the purpose of the devotees around us. Otherwise, and like what Bhakti Swami told me, be tactful. If we are not tactful even in dealing with devotees, we could run into problems. Because if we offend one person, that may ruin our spiritual life. I prefer someone else offending me than I offended somebody. I can adjust myself if someone hurts me. But if I hurt somebody, I know I may run into big problems because I may not even know that I hurt the person. So again, behavior modification. And we read from the scriptures, we should understand the real value of these holy places. And we don't see them based on our external vision. We should see them based on what the acharyas have delineated. So it makes a lot of sense. Yes, it's difficult having material bodies and a sense of discrimination and to be able to appreciate the internal pastimes of the Lord in even in the holy places. But we have to practice too. We have to process these very spiritual concepts of the Dham and how we can perceive the Dham in the appropriate way so as to be able to elevate our consciousness. And that comes with reading itself, reading to be able to understand the depth of the spiritual potency of the Dham. And so that, because knowledge is power, where we have that knowledge, we can try to implement it in our own lives. And realizations will come. Yeah. Nice point. Yes, any other comments or questions? But they're going to eat, right? They will eat? They will eat?
What about your schedule?
Huh?
I can ask later also, what about your schedule?
No. I mean, when I leave here, I have to go and attend to my deities, and then my eating will be after that. And I'm not really feeling hungry. But
Then I can ask question.
yes.
Because they have I don't think they'll be fasting.
Okay. Today is even fasting, right? Till 12 o'clock. I'm not fasting. Raise up your hand so you can go and eat. I'm not fasting today. Raise up your hand. All right. So, yes.
Thank you so much, Maharaja. Because we need such guidance that is very clear. Because when somebody shows us a clear path, then we can progress in
Sure.
Krishna consciousness.
Yeah.
So Maharaj, okay, we should be pleasing when we speak, but what we see that as when the devotees are being trained into Krishna consciousness, so the superiors must keep the fact that Srila Prabhupada must present it as it is, because whatever Srila Prabhupada has given us, that's perfect. So I specifically like the result of Bhakti Swami Maharaj, because he mentions many facts clearly, and same way as Bhakti Swami Maharaj, he says don't just be initiates, be disciples. Like many people are taking initiation, but they are not following the way the first generation disciples were. So, but they are into the congregation groups, in the counselor system where everyone is telling them, okay, it's okay, gradually. So to the specific question I want to ask, regarding the 4 regulative principles in many congregations, they are discussed, it's okay. Though when we are so strict, that we have to take just Krishna Prasad, when it comes about for the 4th regulative principle, when to the bachelors, they don't get initiation if there are any of perverted sensual habits. But when they come to Grihastha, why they are given a license to live like a Grihimedi in the disguise of a devotee. So the 2 wrong things are being propagated, and how to guide properly, because when we as a preacher or as a servants are trying to recommend someone's meaningful initiation, then so first thing is to marry a devotee with a non-devotee, and many groups are promoting that it's okay that person can be a devotee. The other thing is even two devotees are married. So regarding principles, and two devotees they are married, they are initiated or they are aspiring for initiation. To tell them it's okay, it will take time to come to the standard of following four regulative principles. So Prabhupada has clearly mentioned in his lectures, even in the books, very clearly that there is no abortion, no contraception, no illicit sex life. So to keep the standard very clear, because we want to give clear guidance to people, because they are being told, okay, it's okay, it's okay. Then it's just,
Yeah. Understand the point. It's not okay.
Yeah.
It's not okay. Because we don't need many stars, we just need one moon. So if someone is accepting initiation, they should understand, or is preparing for initiation, they should understand that the four regulative principles, there's no compromise.
Yeah.
And I used to say, and I can still say it now, that even for Grihasthas, the Grihastha life is not like, it's not a leeway, but Grihastha life is the most difficult ashram. If you're a Grihastha, if you're real Grihastha, you're going back home, back to God. If you're real Grihastha. So it's not a question of people getting married and rationalizing whatever they are doing. So yeah, I agree with you. You see, those are bitter truths that should not be compromised.
Yes.
And I happen to, a couple met me in Mayapur. I don't want to mention the city where they come from. The couple met me, and they came with other friends. So I was a Samadhi. They came with some other friend, but they told the friend to leave, that they want to discuss with me. But what they raised was relating to this type of issues. They married, but they are not following the regulative principles. Because in married life, based on your age, there are prescribed rules to follow in terms of even sex habits, sex life. So if you follow those rules, it's challenging, okay? You have the person that you're most attracted to on the planet living with you in the same house, the same apartment, or the same room. And to follow those norms is very challenging. But if you're able to follow it, you will be able to access the spiritual world after the end of this lifetime. And so, to be married is one thing, and to be a Grihastha is another thing. To be a Grihastha means to be regulated. In fact, I would openly, and I've been saying that, to be a Grihastha is more difficult than even being a brahmachari or being a sannyasi. I repeat, to be a Grihastha is more difficult than being a brahmachari or being a sannyasi. Because being a Grihastha means that you have the sense gratification right before you, but you cannot gratify your senses. It's like I give the example of the monkeys in Vrindavan. If you carry a banana and you walk the streets of Vrindavan, you'll be beaten down by some monkeys. They take the banana from you. Okay, so if you have a monkey put in a particular room and you bring a bunch of ripe bananas put in that room, and then you tell the monkey, hey boy, look, I know these bananas are ripe, but you don't touch it. And when you get hungry, consult me, We make some decisions on how you're going to eat this banana. And the monkey tells you, yes, 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 yes. So, a real Grihastha is like that, powerful spiritual monkey who is having the bananas, ripe bananas, right there. And he's very detached. He said, no, I'm not going to touch it. If I feel hungry, I'll consult with my master. Isn't that challenging? Isn't that a big challenge? Is that not a big challenge? It is a big challenge to my understanding. So to be a Grihastha is not an easy job. It's not that, okay, I'm tired of being single, so let me marry, and life goes on. No. So I quite understand your point, and a number of people, yes, have encountered just situations. A number of people, they're not able to follow. So it's a big challenge. And we can't tell people it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. So I mean, like the couple that met me in Mayapur, I explained to them, and they were very sincere. They told me what is going on. And I also let them understand that, yeah, it is very difficult. This is my philosophy about this very situation, that is the most difficult ashram. And so if you understand that, I told them, the both of you have to help yourself. One person has to be strong. One of the parties has to be strong to help the other party. I know of, in America, I know of some couple, they were very close to me. They were very close to me. And so there was a situation where he had some little bit of friction. But the husband wouldn't tell me the details. Husband is closer even to me. But then, American women, they don't care. I mean, they're just open book of objectivity. We are close too. And, there was some friction between herself and the husband. So I asked her, I told her, why did you talk like this to your husband? She said, Maharaj, no, that's not what really happened. This is what happened, this is what happened. Okay, the husband was in another city. He came down, and then they were discussing something, and then the husband got offended to say, I'm regretting of even coming. So, she just told the husband blatantly that he didn't just come, you came for sex. So he got really angry. So that was a sustained friction for some days. So she told me that this is exactly what happened. He said like this, and that is why I said like this. And he got angry. So that lady, she's very strict. She's very strict. And so when you have someone who is very strict like that, following the standard, you should be happy, not that you get upset. Because if the both parties are weak, then, it will be like a degradation. So yeah, marriage life is very challenging. And when we meet people who are taking for granted that it's okay, we should, we should speak to them about the need to follow proper standard if they want to go back to Godhead in this lifetime. It doesn't mean that someone is married and he wouldn't go back to Godhead. If you're married, you have an opportunity to be a Grihastha. You can be a Grihastha or a married person. There are two things. You can be a married person, or maybe even three things. You can be a married person or be a Grihastha. A Grihastha means one who is regulated in spiritual values. You husband and wife, only come together, only meet when it's appropriate. Following. I remember when Prabhupada was giving first initiation at 26 Second Avenue, so this question arose. Some devotee asked, how many times, what's about the sex life of grihastas, married people? And the Prabhupada mentions that, I can't remember precisely, but Prabhupada, cited something. And because they also need to chant, Prabhupada also mentioned that they needed to chant, both parties need to chant 50 rounds each. And then this, I can't remember that devotee, was it Brahmananda or someone, maybe someone else. I can't remember, it's been long already planting the seed. And then, he said, in response to what Prabhupada said, he said, there's better to just give it up. Because the rules in the Grihastha life, especially the thing that you needed most for your pleasure, sex, is so much highly regulated. It has to be so much highly regulated. If you're 25 years, there are a number of times you have to do that. If you are 30, if you're 35, if you're 40, there are set down norms. So those who want to marry, you have to understand that. It's a higher ashram, higher than brahmachari ashram, perhaps even higher than sannyas, because sannyas they don't have sense gratification right before them. The grihastha has sense gratification right before them, but they have to become detached. That's not easy. Okay?
Yeah, that means you said, what Prabhupada said, only for procreation, and that too, any certain direction only after chanting 50 rounds. Yeah, people are not following that, and that's why they are making mess. And if one follows that, then it's really so nourishing because Prabhupada has given us a complete system.
Yeah.
It's really like a sweet rice if you follow.
Sure. If you put some sun inside the sweet rice, it's the problem. Yeah, I understand your point. It's a big challenge, and people tend to rationalize.
Yeah,
People give birth to children who don't follow anything, and that is one of the reasons.
Pardon?
People give birth to children who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. That's one of the reasons. And the children that the parents follow strictly is so conspicuous, it's just so open in their lives. And not the case of, Dr. Gupta, Radhika Raman. The parents, he was homeschooled, and he was the youngest PhD in his time in ISKCON. The mother trained him in terms of even language power through the Bhagavatam. But he excelled so much. So devotionally, he's very astute. Academically, he's very astute. So he has a balanced, perfectly balanced life. He started writing for magazines and newspapers at a very tender age. And he has very astute devotion. So that basically shows that the parents follow that system, that regulation. If you follow the regulation, the results will be just clear in terms of the children that you give birth to. But, let's admit that it's not easy.
But it must be followed.
It must be followed, yes.
For initiation and
Sure.
moderation.
If someone, even those who are recommending people for initiation,
Yes.
the trick about the recommendations is that the person who recommends also partake in sharing the karma.
Yes, that is why we ask this question, because we don't want to mess up.
Yeah.
We tell clearly that the way we were just confirming whether we are guiding or telling correctly.
No, that's very correct. That's very correct.
People are telling him many different things, but we said this is what.
No, it's very correct. See, people, the whole world may go to hell, but there should be some few people who will say that, no, we will not go to hell. We want to go back. We want to go to Vaikuntha. We want to go to Krishna Loka. In other words, a number of people, they get affected by the environment, environmental forces, endogenous and exogenous factors, like deplete their devotional astuteness. So, but that does not mean that everyone should just rationalize their deviations. Rationalization is so rampant in Kali Yuga. But when we are taking the vows, we should understand. When we are getting to the ashram, people should understand that, they need to be able to do the needful. So what you're saying, what you're telling people is the perfect truth.
Yeah, because we don't want to do a disservice to our Guru Maharaj, disservice to the
Sure.
who are asking us.
Right.
So we want to keep a clear, transparent channel. That this is standard if you want to follow.
That's good. And anyway, so thank you very much, Doctor. And I'd like to thank all of you who went for the program yesterday. I think the program was, what's your ranking?
The questions were quite good, like how to practice Holy Therapy.
Yeah, I think
Wonderful presentation.
one lady, she's a student or I don't know, but
Student third year undergraduate, Nandini.
okay. She automatically wants to do the devotional service on the spot. So luckily she was there. I said, hey, go me to that ophthalmologist,
And it was a wonderful presentation. Our devotees were very happy because they were thinking, we needed you again and again. They were telling us, every time you just invite Maharaj, we'll just
Yeah, you see, the people are such that they tend to shy away from the reality. And so when you go the traditional way, it's like, and when we are arranging the topic, I don't know whether she told you, but I said something because I was thinking, this is India, so when they mention about Bhagavad Gita, maybe they will be more attracted. But she said, no, these are atheists. Do your system, follow your system so that, we can catch them. So that's how we changed that topic to sonic therapeutic intervention because otherwise there are, in a typical, that same topic, I can simplify it in a purely devotional language. But, when you're dealing with all of these students and professors who sometimes claim that they don't believe in God, you have to present your talk in a very scientific way. And here you have a number of scholars, masters, and doctorates. So, idea is not just to enjoy the presentation, but I'm doing this so that the younger ones, you see how it's done. And Krishna consciousness, you can spread Krishna consciousness, you can present Krishna consciousness to anyone. Especially, you have higher skills. If you just a matter of you have skilled academy, you can do a lot of things. It's a matter of reading broadly. And this is not only men, even women. One of my mentees in America, my personal assistant in New York, she's a white lady. She finished her doctorate in law, and even a doctorate, I forced her to go do it because I made it as a condition for me to accept her as parent disabled. So, I bet, even in a legal dissertation, she read what do you call health. She did a doctorate in health law. She's an immigration lawyer. So she did doctorate in health law, but even in her dissertation, she mentions about Prabhupada. It's a purely legal setting. She mentioned about other things in her writings. So once you have the skills, it's a matter of interjecting here and there. Because I remember she told me a story one time how one of our professors, there was some writing that they were trying to publish. So she bring in some Krishna conscious concepts and constructs. And so the professor detected it. And then the professor said, you could also bring about Christianity and Islam. So she was laughing. But then the point is, if you are astute in scholarship, you can do anything. So those of you who are doing your doctorate, don't think that, I didn't do, my program is not in religion, and so what? My doctorate is not in religion. Oh yeah. So anybody can, practice how to be able to. The fundamental thing is, don't waste your time. Read the books. Read broadly. Read Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. There is so much in this lifetime to read. Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. And then when you broaden your knowledge horizon, your spiritual knowledge horizon, you see that in your field, something relates to the Shastra. Something relates to the Shastra. Yeah. All right. I think we stop there. It's 9 o'clock now, past 9. Yes. All right.
How to train our mind to not fall in Maya due to our past emotions?
Okay. Yeah, when we are chanting, we are becoming purified. When we are eating only Krishna Prasada, we're becoming purified. When we're coming to the programs, we have a good setting here. You can never fall in Maya if you follow this system here. Where people are so much enthused and participating in the program. You're just happy doing what you have to do. You're chanting. You chant your 16 rounds before Brahma Muhurta. Before you go out for your studies. That would be the best thing. Because going out to work or for your studies, it's like going to the war front. Going to the war front. You believe it or not, the environment depletes your energies. And so, you have to have that theoretical understanding. So that when you become depleted, you don't get surprised. You become demotivated, you don't get surprised. People are sapping your energies. Especially, a devotee is like someone who's putting on a white cloth. White cloth, little stain reflects on the cloth. So you are purifying existence. The encounters you have with people out there, they deplete your energies, and it has an impact on you. And therefore, recharge of the battery is required all the time. So if you participate in the programs and you are chanting every day, you are eating only Krishna Prasadam, I can guarantee you never fall into Maya. Yeah. All right. We should adjourn this meeting now. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.